Hello, you are welcome to Tom's Kitchen. It's a pleasure to have you here. In today's video, I would like to share with you how I make this granite soup or peanut butter soup with goat meat. And this is so delicious and is authentic for Ghanaians. Here are the ingredients that I will be using. I have peanut butter, goat meat, tomato paste, pepper, ginger, tomatoes, onions, habanero pepper, green spice blend. I go ahead and prep some of the onions and I add some of the vegetables to it, which I add to my blender, and then I add water to it and blend it till it is smooth. I add the protein to my pot and I add some of the blended ingredient to it. I left half of it in the blender, followed with the tomato paste, salt. The salt has to be enough because we are steaming the protein. Then I stir it nicely to make sure the blended ingredients get to all the protein. Then I add one of the green spice blend. As you can see, I did not add any water to it, so I cover it and bring it to a boil to steam. Then I add the groundnut paste to a different pot. I turn the heat to a medium heat and I add water to it to warm the water, not too high, that you can stir till it is mixed. Because when the water is warm, it is faster to melt the groundnut for it to combine with the water. Keep adding the water to it till it gets to this consistency. Then rinse your hand and add the left ingredient in the blender to the groundnut. And I add the one spice blend to it. And I continue to stir. I keep stirring till it starts to boil. So let's check on the protein. For now, I want to check if the salt is enough because when steaming your protein, you have to let the salt should be enough. And with a good soup, it depends on how you steam or you season your protein. So I check if the salt is enough and I add some to it. I then cover it and allow it to continue cooking. And I check on the granite. As you can see, it is starting to boil. But the most important thing is you have to continue stirring it because it can stick to the pot base and it is very important to keep on stirring. So the moment it starts to boil and it got thickened, I cover it and I reduce the heat to a medium heat. After some few minutes, I open to check on it and I stir it again. And as you can see from the video, there is oil on the surface. Yes, I did not add any oil to it. It is only the oil from the granite. So I stir it and cover it again to continue cooking. And now you could see that the oil is plenty on the surface. Yes, your granite is cooked. Then I add water to it and I stir it. Now the granite is ready to be added to the protein. So what I'm doing here is to make sure that it's well combined or it dissolves into the water. Let's check on the protein if it is well seasoned. Someone will ask, how will you know if your protein is well seasoned if you are not used to make soup? This is a sign because there is an oil on the surface and even the flavor will change and the taste will also change when you taste for the salt. And that is a sign that your protein is well seasoned. Then add the groundnut to it. With the meat, it is not fully cooked. It's cooked for just, let's say, for about 25%. After adding the amount of water that you want to add to the soup, stir it because with groundnut soup, if you don't stir it well before it starts to boil, it will stick under the pot. And we don't want that. Then I add the fresh tomatoes, habanero pepper, and white onion. I allow it to cook until the tomatoes are soft. Even as you can see, the soup has reduced to a certain level. So I remove the tomatoes and then the habanero pepper. I add some of the soup to the blender and then I blend it till it is smooth. After adding it, I rinse the blender with small amount of water and then I add it to the soup. Then I adjust the lid for the soup to continue cooking. And now the soup is almost 90% cooked. So the last thing to blend is the onion. At this time, I did not add any water. I only blend it with the soup and I add the onion to it. At this moment, I reduce the heat to a very low heat. My heat is at the temperature of 3. After adding the onion, I allow the soup to cook for about 10 minutes and then it is ready. To know that your soup is cooked, 1, you can see that the foam on the surface is very thick. There is oil also on the surface. That's the second sign. And the third sign is you could see that the soup has reduced to a certain level and your meat will also be tender. And now soup is ready to enjoy. I hope you found this video interesting. Then hit on the liking button. You can also hit on the notification bell and don't forget to follow the page or subscribe to my channel so that whenever I uploaded a new video, you will be notified and you are invited. Dinner is ready. In Ghana, we eat this for lunch, for dinner. I serve the soup with rice balls and you can serve yours with rice and thank you for watching.